I had lived in the HOA neighborhood for exactly 3 weeks when I learned two important things. First, my garage was definitely on my deed. And second, Karen from Unit 14 believed deeds were more like suggestions. It started on a Tuesday evening. I pulled into my driveway after work, already planning dinner, when I noticed the garage door was halfway open. That was strange. I was obsessive about closing it. As it lifted the rest of the way, my headlights illuminated a white luxury SUV parked neatly inside. Engine off, doors locked. Absolutely not mine. For a moment, I genuinely wondered if I'd turned into the wrong driveway. Same house number, same dented mailbox, same faded welcome mat I'd been meaning to replace. Nope, this was my house, and that was someone else's car. I stood there blinking, brain buffering, when a voice behind me said, "Oh good, you're home." I turned to see Karen, perfect posture, clipboard tucked under one arm like a shield. HOA badge clipped proudly to her cardigan. "That's your car?" I asked, already knowing the answer. "Yes," she said brightly. "I had a meeting and needed somewhere secure to park. Your garage was open." "It wasn't," I said. She waved a dismissive hand. "Either way, garages are considered shared-use structures under HOA's emergency bylaws." I stared at her. "This is a single-family home." Yes," she said patiently, like I was slow. "But the HOA retains certain flex rights." I asked her to move the car. She smiled. "I can't right now. I'm late." "I'll get it later." Then she walked away. I stood there for a long time, the garage door still open, my own driveway blocked by entitlement on 4 wheels. That night, I read my HOA documents cover to cover. No shared use clause, no emergency flex rights, nothing even remotely close to what she'd claimed. My garage was mine. End of story. The next morning, I knocked on Karen's door. No answer. I emailed the HOA. Automated reply. I called the property management company. "We'll look into it." That afternoon, I noticed something else. A small scrape on the garage wall. Fresh, white paint transfer. My jaw tightened. I had a vacation planned. 2 weeks. Non-refundable tickets. Beach, quiet, no emails. I debated canceling, but now a thought settled in. Slow, calm, perfectly clear. That evening, I installed the new smart garage lock I'd been meaning to set up anyway. It was legal. It was mine. And it worked from my phone. I left Karen a polite note taped to the garage interior door. "Your vehicle is parked on private property without permission. Please contact me to arrange removal." Then I closed the garage. The lock engaged with a soft, final click. The next morning, I left for the airport. By the time my plane reached cruising altitude, my phone buzzed. One missed call, then another, then 3 texts, each more frantic than the last. "Karen, you locked my car in Karen. This is HOA property, Karen. Call me immediately." I turned my phone to airplane mode and ordered a ginger ale. From my hotel balcony that night, waves crashing below, I checked the security camera feed. Lo, Karen stood in my driveway, arms flailing, clipboard abandoned on the ground. Another HOA board member arrived. Then another. No one could open the garage. I smiled, set the phone down, and watched the sunset. For the first time since moving in, the neighborhood was very, very quiet. I didn't think about Karen much during the vacation. That was the surprising part. Somewhere between day 3 and day 4, the stress just melted away. Morning swims. Long walks, no hey emails, no clipboards, just peace. But back home, according to the camera logs, things were anything but peaceful. Day 2, Karen returned with a locksmith. He lasted exactly 6 minutes before leaving, shaking his head. Day 3, a tow truck arrived. It didn't last much longer. Private garage, no access, no authorization. Day 5, property management showed up. They stood in the driveway, staring at the closed garage door like it might confess something. I finally checked my messages that evening. 37 missed calls. Emails marked as urgent. One voicemail stood out. "Ucumel," Karen said, voice tight. "This has gone far enough. You are abusing HOA authority." I laughed out loud. Hard. On day 10, a letter was slid under my front door, captured clearly by the interior camera. A formal notice from that HOA accusing me of improper use of shared assets. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, who replied with one sentence, "They're bluffing." When I returned home after 2 weeks, the neighborhood felt different, quieter, watchful, as if everyone knew something had happened, but no one wanted to be the next example. Karen's SUV was still in my garage. I called the HOA for the first time since leaving. "I'm home," I said. "You can retrieve the vehicle today." They arrived within the hour. Karen came to, red-faced, furious, clipboard back in place like armor. As the garage door opened, sunlight flooded in, revealing the SUV exactly where she'd left it. Untouched, safe, trapped only by her own assumption. "This was illegal," she snapped. "Oh no," I said calmly. "Illegal would have been touching your car. I didn't." "It sat on my property, exactly where you put it." The property manager cleared his throat. "We reviewed the bylaws. There is no shared use provision for private garages." Karen turned on him. Instead, I handed her a printed invoice. Storage fees calculated at the lowest legal rate for private property vehicle storage. 2 weeks, itemized. "You can pay this," I said, "or I can pursue formal trespass charges. Your choice." For the first time, Karen was silent. She paid. Within a month, Karen resigned from the HOA board. The bylaws were updated very clearly about private property boundaries. The neighborhood stopped feeling like a battlefield. Sometimes when I open my garage, I still think about that quiet click of the lock and the waves crashing far away. It wasn't revenge, it was a boundary, and it held perfect